Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Archenemy. Yeah, sometimes we go into the sci-fi world. Why not? Why not? All right, let me introduce my co-host, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff Mohr, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It is like nasty out. It is nasty out, but I'm in here nice and toasty.
I like it when you get nasty. I like it when you're nasty. All right. Also joining us tonight is Crystal Cleveland. She is a living dead girl. How you doing?
I'm great. It's almost, Christmas. Yay!
Yep. It is the holiday season.
Yep.
Do you is that red and just not showing up as red, or is it black? Do you have a black?
No, it's black.
You have a black Christmas hat, Santa hat?
Yeah,
black.
Of course.
All right.
It's black. Actually, I have multiple ones. This one's kind of short. I have one that where the tail comes down. That one's kind of annoying because it's just like, it's a little bit hard to control. I'm like, hey.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah. There's so many places I can go with all that, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I am so glad you guys are here. We're going to be talking about Archenemy, which has a fun cast and a director that we've reviewed a few of his other films and liked. So this is going to be fun to dig into. But Archenemy is available in theaters on demand December 11th, so it's available now as we're recording. The writer-director is Adam Egypt Mortimer. Daniel Isn't Real was a favorite in was it last year or the year before last?
Oh my god, I love that movie. Yes.
Yeah. The cast includes Joe Manganiello. That's pretty close.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, True Blood. I remember him. True Blood. He was the but he's been in other things. I think what's the stripper movie he was in? Magic Mike, right?
Oh wow, I never saw that movie.
Maybe.
I think I'm like the only woman in the world who's like, nah, I'm okay.
Oh my god. Skyland Brooks, Zoe Griggs, Amy Semmets, and Glenn Hoverton, and also Paul Scheer. Yes, Paul Scheer. That's a lot of fun. Synopsis goes: Max Fist claims to be a hero from another dimension who fell through time and space to Earth, where he has no answer. No one believes his stories except for a local team named Hamster. Together, they take to the streets to wipe out the local drug syndicate and its vicious crime boss known as the Manager. Yes, do you like that dramatic pause there?
I was wondering if it was a dramatic pause or you just got lost in space.
Lost in space.
I was lost for a minute.
Yeah, you were lost. Flip you back in there. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to give our first impressions, and we're going to talk about the film for a little bit, and then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. That's what you want to stick around for. It gets gassy then. No,
gassy.
That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say it's a gas, but it came out it's gassy. Totally not right. Huh.
Yeah, I told Bill in the last. Yes, I told Bill in the last podcast I'll give him the finger.
Yeah,
but not the rest.
Yeah, give him the finger.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Well, Jeff, you just nominated yourself as the first person to go. What was your first impression of Archenemy?
My first impression is, boy, is this weird. Well, it starts off with about three and a half minutes of animation and exposition to try to set up how Max Fist ended up where he is, and then that happens periodically throughout the film. We go back to the animation, and if I'm not sure how else they would have done it. I mean, there's a really long, involved backstory, and I'm not sure how else they could have got that across. But in the end, I think it worked. I kind of enjoyed it, and I liked. Oh God, my brain's going dead. I liked the leads. I thought he was great. I liked all the actors. Hamster. Oh my God, Hamster World, Hamster City, Hamster whatever, Hamster Town. He had names for all this stuff. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Lots of violence. Lots of violence. I don't get Max Fist, how he survived all that stuff, but I guess that's part of the
he's
science
from
fiction
another
part.
world.
Oh, okay. Oh, and well, anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Are you sure?
I like the animated part because they kept it to all the stories that involved the other world. So
right.
Felt appropriate. All right, Crystal, what is your first impression of Archenemy?
This movie is a total trip. But I like, that Daniel Isn't Real was in my top 10. Who is this director? Like, who is he? Like, he has such a style. And I have to admit that I think this movie without him would be boring. But he elevates it to another level because I love the style. I do love the animation as well. I love the style of the animation with it as well for the other dimension. And I don't know if I've just been playing or been wanting to play too much cyberpunk, but it totally has a cyberpunk-ish type feel to me. And I really dig that. This movie has a lot of blue, and I love blue. So that works for me. I mean, in multiple ways. Like, there's lots of blue. And then there's magenta, a lot of blue and magenta. And it's so beautiful. Because, in filmmaking, you have, like, the cyan and the orange. And then instead of that, he did this blue and this magenta. And I just think it's really, really nice compliment there. I think the acting is phenomenal from everyone. Everyone was brilliant. The story was simple, and actually, it felt like the movie was really fast.
Mm-hmm. It did feel.
It just felt like I started watching it and then it was over. Yeah. So that just says how good it was. Even though it's not as crazy, it's kind of a dirty, gritty, darker superhero movie, more than what you probably expect from superhero movies today. I like the way it ended. I like the whole idea of, kind of passing the torch sorts of things. I really, really like this director. I really, really liked this movie a lot. And I don't know if I could say that I think it's going to be for everyone. I think some people are not going to enjoy it, and some people aren't maybe going to get it. And I think some people might just think, but I think if you get it, and you're going to like it. You're going to enjoy it. Just takes you kind of on a ride.
It does that. I think what makes this movie work outside of the direction is our leads, right? I think, Jeff, you were alluding to this. Joe and who was it plays Hamster, Skyland Brooks. I think their chemistry together is really strong. They're polar opposites, right? But they work well together, and they're curious about each other. And when it comes time for Max Fist to step up and protect them, you believe it, right? You buy into it. You still don't necessarily believe his story, but you believe in the character wanting to do that. So your belief is starting to be suspended, as they say, right? So and then of course Indigo is great too. Zoe Griggs. I thought she was a lot of fun as Hamster's sister with the blue hair, right?
Yep, blue. And Indigo, what a great name. Come
on. Blue, everything. What were those giant blue handballs she made? Or
I don't know, but I thought they were going to come back and they didn't. But they were just so likable, and they were written in a way that you rooted for them, even though they're Indigo is in a seedier part of society, right? She's still the one you're going to root for, and you always need that, right? She's the anti-hero of that kind of scenario. The manager is a good enough bad guy, but there's also
oh my god, surprise. What
you liked him?
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yes, I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, though.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, oh my God, Dennis!
Glenn Howerton, and that's I have no thing for that. So I mean it was fine, but
So funny.
this isn't a Marvel movie, so this is something that you
Oh,
need
yeah.
to know going in. This isn't Marvel. This isn't the DC movies. This feels closer to some of the
It's more like The Watchmen,
in
kind of.
a way, yeah.
I mean,
Um,
but not as high budget.
right. Yeah, I mean, it does wear its budget on its sleeve, but it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't hurt
No.
it. It actually wins you over with that. It feels less spectacle and more of a story. So it works in its favor. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I still, favor the Marvel movies. I'm a sucker for that. But this was an interesting, change of pace. Had a good time with it.
Just so you know, there's not a lot of gore for you gore lovers. So you are going to not want to watch this for the gore. It's definitely geared towards sci-fi. Can it be a horror? Sure. Yeah, it's definitely got some weird horror elements to it, but it's definitely sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I just want to get that clear for our horror lovers out there that are just horror.
We are definitely stretching our broadening our horizons so we can include this, but that's fine. We do that quite a bit actually throughout the year, and there's no reason not to include this one. There is, I mean, when he goes ballistic toward the end, there's some blood, there's some crimson shed,
There's some blue shed.
I was about to say we got some blue bloods,
and then Paul Scheer, gives us a very comedic ending as well to his character.
I just think he was so brilliant. And his oh God. I just every time I see that guy, I instantly want to laugh. But he played such a horrible person in this. He did it well. Yeah, he did a great job.
He just plays another monster that owes the manager money, and Indigo has to go to him to collect it, and he's just such a crazy character. He does.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. It was a great scene. Great scene.
He was totally whacked out. The director just blows me away. Daniel Isn't Real was incredibly original, and this is like a whole nother level of original. I don't know what kind of mind thinks of this stuff.
And
sees this.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say it's more akin to like Super and some of those other kind of under the radar hero films that came out over the past decade or so. Then, have you guys ever seen Super?
Of course. Oh gosh, what? Oh, you have to see Super.
Oh, you gotta see Super. Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah. I totally agree. Oh, I was just processing what you were saying. There's just something about I'm not a cinematographer, I'm not a movie maker, but there's something about his style though that I could have probably called it that he did Daniel Isn't Real in this, even though they look completely different. Like Daniel Isn't Real had a lot of red. Yeah, it's just I do think he utilizes color really beautifully, and I think Joe's performance is great. I actually didn't recognize him for a while. I didn't know it was him. And then I was like, it wasn't until he took off his shirt where I went, who is that guy? Who's he?
Recognize those
Who is
biceps,
that?
don't you?
That looks like really familiar. Yeah, and so yeah, that's not the only reason I like this. I just think it's done really well. It's like I said, honestly, if I were to strip it down and just look at the story, I think I would be like, this is so boring. This is silly. But it isn't, and it works really well, and I was completely drawn in and intrigued, and the more the story went along, the more I liked it. So
yeah, the basic story is very straightforward, but the subtext is a little bit more nuanced.
Right.
The relationships, the characters, whether or not Max Fist is a truly from another planet or another dimension or a blowhard, that's a big part of it.
Well, what was it? Crystal Cave, right? Was that the thing he was?
Yeah, that's where his power came from. I mean,
Yeah,
it does
and-
have my name in it, so that's
And he
plus.
finds his power from. Yeah,
That was kind of hilarious. Wait, you mean
some other crystal. Yeah,
Yep. Was that supposed to be cocaine or crystal meth?
meth.
Really? I've never seen such powdery meth. Not that I've seen a lot of crystal, but I have. And I've never seen it so powdery. No, I'm just kidding. It was like powder.
I don't know.
It was like powder.
It was.
But
Maybe.
that's interesting. But that's what it was supposed to be, right? Crystal meth. Wow.
They could have
He
made
said-
it
he
anything.
said it
I
was
don't know.
at some point. Yeah.
Okay. That's so dangerous. Sorry.
Yeah.
I ignored that
but
part.
Don't encourage
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, it's not a big part of it, so you don't have to. It's really just kind of a throwaway line.
I think it's mainly just to make you question where his heart and his abilities. Well, he doesn't really exhibit abilities to be. Well, I mean, he does get up after. He's just a tough guy. He's just a BA dude. That's really what that's about, more than anything. He's BA. And I like how the relationship winds up with him and the boss, because of course you learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And of course come on, it makes so much sense. Of course.
Amy Simmons plays Cleo.
Whatever you say.
Who is a female antagonist, right? In this, what do we think of her?
She was great.
Yeah, I liked everybody. I thought every actor did a great job. No, everyone was perfect. But see, I think that lies on the director. I think he got the perfect performances from everyone.
Now, I love
the writing and the conversation she had with the manager in the car, where the manager is pitching.
Oh yeah.
How things could be.
She's like,
very good acting.
Yep. Yeah, my favorite was Indigo. I just thought she was great, and she's basically a supporting character until she isn't. And I just liked her arc and what happens. Thought it was fantastic.
So the only nitpick I had about the movie, which they did address and wrap up, was why she took. Well, I don't want to give anything away. She took something that she shouldn't have, and yet she waited around with it, knowing it was going to get her into major trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't explain why she took it or why she did this until after, technically later, a little bit later, which wound up making sense, I mean, but I guess I was just like, why are you still there? Like, what the heck? I just think that was my only nitpick, where I was like, oh, it's
I
a
think
choice,
she was.
but
I see it, but I think she was waiting for Hamster to show up.
I would have gone immediately though I was like,
Hamster.
okay, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I wouldn't be waiting around. No way, that's crazy. But I get it. It happens. That's literally the only thing that bothered me about the movie. Everything else to me was really good.
I did like Joseph Reitman, who comes in to question her.
Oh yeah.
The guy with the big.
Oh,
Scary.
right.
Oh yeah, but he was so. His attitude and the language, both body language and verbal language, was so.
He's scary.
But it was so cool too. He was just like so calm, and drew her in, and she knew she was in trouble from the get-go.
She wasn't very good at covering up her, it's like if you want to be in that business, you better be a good liar, I guess. It's like, no, I'm good. What's up?
Yeah. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
No, don't go in there. All right. Well, there's a lot to say, but I think we're hemming and hawing, because if we keep talking, we're going to start spoiling.
Yeah,
things.
we're gonna kill it.
We might have dropped a few nuggets here and there. Regardless, I think we're going to say check this out when you get the opportunity, but let's find out for sure. So what we do now is we give our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. I can't wait to do that on this one. There's a lot to choose from. But before we do, please hit the subscribe button down below and help us reach our goal for the year. It's too late to reach it this year, but we want to do it in the next few months. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Hit subscribe and help us out. Hit the like button, the dislike button. I don't care which. Just do it. Leave us some comments. Did you like this? Is it this? Are you a fan of the director? Anything you want to put down there, we'd love to hear from. And those who have been doing so, thank you. We've been getting some really great comments back, and they're wonderful, and we read them all. Thank you all so much. And of course, we also want to thank our patrons.
Yay!
Without whom we would not be doing this. Not only does it support and help produce this podcast here, the Grissom Magazine podcast, but also H&R, Decades of Horror, Heroes and Droids. So if you check out our YouTube channel, you'll see pretty much a podcast every weekday. And last week, we did a milestone, Jeff, Crystal. We published 10 episodes in a week.
I saw that.
Is that insane? That's
crazy.
I am crazy.
You are crazy. Yes. You're absolutely crazy.
All right, let's get into this. Do our final thoughts or score and favorite scene. Jeff Mohr, you are up first, sir.
I think this is worth watching. Wade through the, if you're not into that kind of stuff, because I found the animation to be like disorienting. It's really sort of surreal, and it was hard to really get. I thought the animation looked great, but I had to really listen to the words to figure out what was going on. And sometimes I get focused on one or the other. But the actual movie part of it with the actors and everything, once we got the backstory, that was great fun. Lots of good acting, lots of crazy ideas. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm going to go 3.75.
Nice.
And since I get to go first, I'm going to take when Max breaks up the card game or whatever the hell that was.
Breaks up the card.
Well, all those guys sitting around the table,
okay.
Yeah.
They all have their mask on. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are these? Are these aliens or what's going on?
It's a great scene. And that's one of the more bloodier scenes. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. All right. Great.
There's some good fighting.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Crystal, it's your turn. What's your final thoughts, your score and favorite scene?
So obviously, I think you should watch this movie. I think it's clear that I liked it. And I liked it more than Jeff because I'm giving it a 4.
Whoa!
Yeah, totally. I actually want to watch it again. If I had time, I would have watched it again, and I probably would go higher. Because I think there's a lot of subtleties that I missed along the way. But I really liked the animation, and I liked the mix-in because you knew that when you saw it, you were peering into the other dimension.
Right.
So it just made sense to me. But I get that it could be jarring and a little disorienting, and the colors are just so vivid and wild. But yeah, it's good. So obviously, my favorite scene is the Russian roulette. It's clearly
yeah.
I'm like, hello. I was actually a little messed up by it. I was like, that was fast.
Now I got to come up with a new one.
Yep. There's plenty.
I could give you more. Yeah, I could give you more.
I'll come up with something. Damn you.
What about your favorite character?
That's what I'm going to go with. Mm-hmm. All right. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I wasn't sure at first. I kind of, even though I was enjoying the animation, I wasn't getting the vibe. But by the time it got into the second act and stuff, and the repetition of that came into play. I started to get comfortable with it and enjoy it. They use it quite often. Every time he's talking about his background in the story, you get it. And so if you're watching it and you feel that way, like Jeff and I do at first, just give it some time and it settles in, and you'll be happy for yourself for sticking with it. Our cast is terrific. Cast is the reason to do this. The direction's another reason. The dialogue, the writing is a third. it's not a horror film, and it's not one of your Marvel DC superhero films. It's just a quiet little sci-fi film.
Okay, you know what?
Does get kind of noisy from time to time.
What about Sin City? It reminds me of Sin City a lot, like at points. So it's kind of that vibe.
Totally, but not in Rodriguez style.
The same, yeah.
Rodriguez did Sin City, right?
Yeah, Rodriguez. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So So I'm gonna give. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna give it I'll give it a 3.75 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that. I was actually thinking a little lower, but I think I talked myself into a 3.75.
I'm totally with Crystal. I want to watch it again now that I kind of get the flow of it. I think there'll be a lot more stuff I can pick up.
Yeah, me too.
So. Yeah. Well, I definitely want to see a continuation. I like where the movie ends, and it's not one of those, oh yeah, they stuck the stinger on because, right? It feels like a progression of the story, which
felt like it was supposed to happen.
Right, which I really appreciate. So if there anything, that's why I'm going to give them the extra points, and that's also going to be my favorite scene. I loved the the blue blood. Is there blue blood? There might be blue blood, and what that does and everything. And I thought the visuals were really strong handling that. And what was happening between Indigo and Hamster at that time. There's no dialogue, but the characters say everything. So, and so does Max Fist for that matter at that point. It's a lot of great stuff. I've really enjoyed it.
Yay.
Agreed.
Well, and it is
Everybody's talking once. Go ahead.
It isn't that I didn't like the animation. It was that I was so engrossed in it because it was so wild that I had a hard time. But I didn't get the backstory from the animation. I had to go back and do it again to hear the words or the narration, if that makes any sense.
No, I agree with you totally. Yeah, it's a little jarring at first. Just in the nature of the storytelling, but I think when you get accustomed to it, like you said, you had to go back and do that. But when the next one comes along, and you start getting accustomed to it. The storytelling is actually quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love the very minimalist style, kind of anime, but not.
It kind of reminded me of. Do you remember Aeon Flux?
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me with way more color. No, the drawing style, but not the colors. The colors were totally magenta and blue. Like it's very vivid, but the style is kind of hard. I don't know. I just see a lot of different little things here that remind me of lots of things. So
I think we're all in agreement. We can't wait to see what the director does next. So thank you so much for this effort and your past efforts.
Yeah. What's his name again? Like Egypt or
Adam
something.
Egypt
I'm
Mortimer.
so sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wanted to look it up, make sure I said it right. But yeah, you're right. Adam Egypt Mortimer. Great director. Good director. Yep.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
He's never gonna see this.
Keep an eye out.
Some Kind of Hate is actually pretty good too, and I bet you haven't seen that.
No.
What is that?
Some Kind of Hate.
Yeah. I'm thinking I want to watch that again because I'm not sure I fully appreciated that.
Okay, I'll have to check it out too.
I
like hate.
There you go. And some kind of it might be the right thing. All right, well there you go. That's our review of Archenemy. Check it out. Let us know what you think down below. Crystal, Jeff, thank you so much for joining me. This was a blast.
Thanks for having us, and happy holidays!
Yes. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
You're probably watching this somewhere between Christmas and New Year, so just enjoy. And let's bring on 2021, shall we? Please.
Oh, it'd be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Let's say goodbye to 2020.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, 2020. All right, good night.
Which way are we pushing?
Good night. You want, man. Push down, push up, push side. I'm gonna hit I'm hitting the button now. Good night.
Yeah. Just.
Gruesome Magazine.